Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back to talk about all of the fragrances that I wore last week. So I've got quite a few here. I'm gonna jump right in. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is this one here. This is Givenchy Organza. This is just the original formulation. I do have Organza Incense as well, which I also absolutely adore. In fact, I like Incense way more than I like the original, but I do still love the original. This is a beautiful 90s flower bomb is what it is. Very vintage smelling. In fact, I would say that this is it's a 90s perfume that is still kind of very much in the 80s. I love this one. This is a warm floral. It smells like it's a warm spiced floral. It's got some warm spices in it, like nutmeg. I think it's got a little bit of clove in it. I think it's got some jasmine and rose, and it's just beautiful. It's a warm, vintage smelling spiced floral, and I adore it. This is not one that my husband likes at all. He thinks it smells really, really mature, which I totally get. But I really enjoy this one, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was perfect for the really gross cold day that it was when I wore it. And yeah, I adore this perfume. It's very nostalgic smelling to me. This takes me right back to the mid 90s when I was in high school, and I love it. It's just such a good one. So anyway, oh, an absolute monster too. This is a reformulation, but I would say it's probably it's not like the newest formulation. I would say this is probably pre-2012. So before perfumes really started getting watered down, in my opinion. So it's a good one, but yeah, this thing is nuclear. I smelled like this until I washed it off the next day. I mean, it was like crazy, but I do love this fragrance. So anyways, that is Givenchy Organza. Okay, next I pulled out, this is an easy winter reach for me. I absolutely adore this fragrance. Sadly, since my chemistry has changed, this still smells amazing on me, but the performance is not there anymore, and it used to. I used to be able to smell this on me, albeit lightly. It would wear close to the skin, but I would be able to actually smell it for hours, 8 hours at least. Now, gosh, I don't know that I even got a few hours out of it. This is Gale Hayman Delicious Vanilla, and I absolutely adore this perfume. This smells very much like the original formulation of warm vanilla sugar to me. However, again, since my chemistry / nose has changed a little bit, I'm almost starting to smell something floral in this. Just the tiniest hint. It's not overly floral. It still smells like warm vanilla sugar to me, but I can almost detect like a very mild floral in it. I don't know. I love it, but sadly it just doesn't perform super well on me anymore. I didn't layer it over any lotion though, which I usually do. I wasn't in the mood, so I just went ahead and sprayed this on. Yeah, I got a few hours out of it. It was perfectly fine. I ended up getting into a sample from Smelly Mail and spraying that on afterwards, and it was perfect. And sometimes you just want a perfume like that, something that you can spray on, enjoy for a few hours, and then you can move on to something else. Yeah, which I haven't been doing a ton of, and I need to get back to it because I love doing that. So anyways, that is Gale Hayman Delicious Vanilla. Okay, next, this came in a Smelly Mail package not too terribly long ago. It was still too warm for it though when I got it, so I've just been waiting patiently to be able to pull this one out and wear it, and the time finally came, and I'm so excited. This is a fragrance from Comme des Garçons, and this is called Incense Avignon. So apparently they did like a whole line of fragrances that were supposed to be representative of major world religions. And so like Islam got its own fragrance, like Buddhism I think got its own fragrance. I mean, like most major world religions got their own fragrance. This was the fragrance that represented Catholicism or Christianity. And so this is which I did not know last time I talked about this fragrance, which I think was in my winter 1 video. I didn't realize. I knew that it had something to do with like religions, but I wasn't totally sure. Which is funny because I said in that video this smelled like a Catholic church to me, and it does. That's exactly what it smells like. It smells like if you've ever been to a Catholic mass where they swing the incense things. I think those are called botafumieros. Then that's what this smells like. Exactly. But it's really, really wearable. It's not overly heavy. It's not gonna like choke you out. It's really, really beautiful. It's a really wearable, churchy incense fragrance. I did spray this one on in the evening and wore it to bed, and then I still very much smelled like this the next morning when I woke up. So it is definitely a heavy hitter. Like, it's going to stay with you for hours and hours. And it's a perfect cold winter scent. I know that a lot of people in the States are getting tons of snow right now. This would be like the perfect snowy weather scent for sure. It would definitely warm you up on a cold, snowy day. So anyways, that is from Comme des Garçons, and that is called Incense Avignon. Okay, next I pulled out another easy reach. I was having kind of a lazy perfume week last week. I didn't really want to have to think about it a whole lot. So I did go for quite a few easy reach fragrances. I went ahead and pulled out my Gallagher Wicked Good. I pulled this out for a video recently, and I saw it sitting there, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're calling to me. I love this. This is my favorite chocolate scent on the planet. I think it is the best. This one is chocolate, Madagascar vanilla, tonka bean. It is incredible quality. It's very potent, very strong, very long lasting. I can get a good 8 to 10 hours out of this fragrance. I don't know if it's just my skin chemistry or if everybody gets that kind of longevity with this one, but I really, really do. I couldn't love a fragrance more. I think this would end up in a top 5 for life at this point. Like, this would be one of the top 5 fragrances that I couldn't live without. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. It's everything that I love in a fragrance. It's warm, it's kind of heavy, it's gourmand, but without being too edible and smelling too like saccharine. It's vanillic, but also tonka. God, it's everything. I love it. So anyways, yeah, I wore that one and enjoyed it immensely. This is Gallagher Wicked Good. Okay, next is a combination. This is a combination I discovered, I think last year. And it started with this perfume here. This is the fragrance from Rebecca Minkoff, and it's just Rebecca Minkoff. This is just a 14 ml decant that I picked up from, I want to say like TJ Maxx. And I like this. This is kind of like it's a warm, kind of slightly spiced, but mostly wood fragrance. And I do like this, but it was a little bland for me on its own, and it didn't last on me on its own at all. So whenever I first tested this, I think last year, I immediately like pulled out Pink Sugar because it was sitting right there, and it's one of my easy reaches, and I immediately layered it over the Rebecca Minkoff, and it made the most fantastic layering combination. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I can't even describe it, except for it takes away a lot of the sweetness from the Pink Sugar, but you're still left with that like beautiful kind of rich caramel aspect of the Pink Sugar without the sweetness. It takes a lot of the licorice-ness out of that's not a word, but you know what I mean, the licorice aspect out of the Pink Sugar. And this just mellows this out so much and adds a little bit of a woodiness to it, and it's so good. But this also adds the sweetness to the Rebecca Minkoff, which was just fell a little flat for me on its own. I don't know, there's something about this combination that is fantastic. There was a subscriber that also has these two fragrances in her collection, and when I talked about this combination the first time, she was like, ooh, I've got both of those, I'm gonna try them. She came back and she was like, you're right, it's such a good combo. And I think she left a comment this year on a video saying that she's been wearing this combination a lot, and I get it, it's such a good one. It was like a happy accident. It was one of those situations where I was putting something on that I wasn't loving, and I immediately grabbed something to just kind of save it, and oh gosh, I discovered a fantastic combo. So anyways, that is Rebecca Minkoff and Pink Sugar from Aquilina. And then to all of the decants and samples that I tried. So I tried a 3 from Dr. Sweet Tooth. These were sent over by my beautiful friend Christine, and I have been, working my way through these. So the first one, I knew immediately I had to try this. This is the Black Currant and Jasmine, and oh my gosh, you guys, this is so good. This is the most beautiful, sweet berry black currant and like a delicate jasmine. It smelled, when you first spray it on, you do almost get this like almost gourmand candied black currant, which quickly dry, well, I don't want to say quickly, after about 15 minutes it dries down to almost like a green black currant, or not green, more of like a true black currant, but without going really pissy. And I hate using that term, but some black currant can do that. It can go really, really pissy. What is that? Lalique Amethyst. That is a black currant fragrance that just, wow, did not work for me because it went incredibly pissy. And they say that black currant, like in nature, smells like pee. So it makes sense. But anyways, if you can imagine it going to like a natural place, or if you can imagine it drying down to smelling like mostly like a natural black currant, but without going so far that it smells pissy, that's what the black currant in this does. And then you get this beautiful, delicate jasmine that kind of starts to warm up and starts to mingle with the black currant. I would say it's more black currant than jasmine, but the combination, oh my gosh, is so good. This was just blended so beautifully, and it wore so beautifully. This is one that I would absolutely want a full bottle of. It is, Dr. Sweet Tooth, I think is mostly like a gourmand house, but this is a really beautiful fragrance that I would say kind of leans gourmand, because again, it's like a kind of like a candied black currant, but when it dries down, it's like this really beautiful, fresh, like berried floral. It's gorgeous. It's quite unique too. So anyways, that is Dr. Sweet Tooth Black Currant Jasmine. Such a good one. I can't recommend that one enough. Okay, then I pulled out this one here. This is Cardamom Pecan Cream. This is fantastic. It is delicious. I used a lot of it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. This just smells like something yummy to eat. It smells like some delicious, warm, kind of slightly nutty confection. Oh, it's so good. You get the warmth from the pecan. You get a little bit of nuttiness from, no, I'm sorry, you get the warmth from the cardamom. You get a little bit of nuttiness from the pecan. But then there's this almost, I don't want to say it's cake-like, but it's a really, really creamy, like vanilla, or yeah, some kind of a creamy note without being overly sweet. That's another thing about these. They're not overly sweet. You're not going to smell like a candle. They're really good. Yeah, I've been super impressed with this Dr. Sweet Tooth brand. I just think that they do some really yummy gourmands without going over the top, and without making things that are too convoluted, that have so many notes in them that you can't really smell anything. It just smells like I don't know, sweet sludge. I've just been really enjoying them so much. So anyways, that is Dr. Sweet Tooth Cardamom Pecan Cream. Such a good one. And then the last Dr. Sweet Tooth that I wore was this one here called Coffee Shop. I wore this one last night. I didn't spray on too much of this one, so it did wear off quite quickly. It smells quite similar to Al Rahab French Coffee to me. This is just a little bit more rich smelling, like a little bit more high quality smelling. But if you love Al Rahab French Coffee, I think you would really like this one. It's really, really nice. It lasted about the same amount of time that French coffee would last. And it's just really yummy. Reminds me of coffee, those Nips candies when I was little, those coffee nip candies. This smells like those tasted, just like sweet, creamy coffee, delicious. So anyways, that is Dr. Sweet Tooth Coffee Shop. Okay, and then I tested 2 of the samples that Sweet Susan sent over. The first one was this one here. This is Tonado Dama. This is beautiful. This is very, very similar on my skin. I don't know what it would be like on others, but on my skin, this is very, very similar to Cashmere, or to what I would imagine like the original formulation of Tocade, of Rocha Tocade would smell like. Or even the original formulation of Cashmere, either one of them. I think that this smells like a more expensive, much more high quality version of both of those fragrances. It's kind of vintage leaning, it's super warm, it's very vanilla heavy, but not a gourmand vanilla heavy at all. It's more of like a perfumey vanilla, the way that Cashmere and Tocade are. And it's beautiful. I loved this one. Absolute monster. This thing lasted forever. I smelled like this until I washed it off the next day. It was so nuclear on me. Beautiful. If you are looking for, if you like Cashmere or Tocade, but you don't like the newest formulations and you're looking for something that would be more similar to like one of the original formulations that was better quality, richer, all of those things, I think this would be a fantastic alternative. So that one is called Tonada Damo. And then this one is one that I hope this one hasn't been discontinued, because I am gonna look for a full bottle of this. This was fantastic and it smelled so good on me. This is a fragrance from that, I'm gonna butcher it, Farmacia Farmacia SS Annunnato, maybe is the name of the house. It's like a niche house, and this is called Sweet Carousel. And oh my gosh, I've still got another wear left in this. This is so good. I enjoyed every second of this. It's a super interesting powdery, but not overly powdery, but powdery vanilla musk fragrance. Those were all of the, I think it's got some, it does have some flowers in it. I think it's got some jasmine in it. It definitely has a little bit of almond in it. And the almond is where you get the bit of powderiness. So it's like a more of an almondy powderiness rather than like a baby powder powderiness. But then you get the most beautiful like vanilla / musk in the base. Oh, it's so good. It's really unique smelling, even though it doesn't seem like it would be with the note breakdown, but it is quite unique smelling. It is super long lasting for a vanilla or musk perfume. And I fell in love with it. It smelled so good on me. It was one of those days where I was like, it was one of those days that reminded me of why I love perfume so much. It was just so enjoyable. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking for a bottle of this to pick up because I am in love with it. So anyways, that is Farmacia SS, I think I said Annun something. I think it's Annunziata actually. And it's called Sweet Carousel. So anyways, guys, those are all of the fragrances that I wore last week. I would love to hear what you wore last week. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.